Bumblebees are in decline. Changes in agriculture, especially in the last 40 years, mean there aren't enough wildflowers in the countryside to meet their nectar and pollen needs. And yet we rely on these insects to pollinate our fruit and vegetable crops, for service worth millions of pounds to the economy. Fortunately, garden plants also provide nectar and pollen. With careful planning, gardeners can grow a succession of plants so there's always something in bloom from early spring right through till October. This is particularly important in spring, when flowers seem to come in waves. Without nectar, bees face starvation. Bumblebee queens hibernate over winter. When they emerge in the spring, their energy reserves are low. They must find nectar immediately to survive. Bulbs are a great source. Here's a buff-tailed queen on this Iris reticulata, and another on crocus. And here's a red-tailed queen. Daffodils provide nectar and pollen. Newly emerged queens sometimes shelter in the trumpets before establishing a nest. Avoid cultivated doubles. Spring heathers are a great source of nectar. Rosemary, winter honeysuckle, sweet box and primroses provide nectar early in the spring and last for many weeks. This red-tailed queen is getting nectar from a native primrose. Avoid cultivated varieties. Although colourful, they lack nectar. Lungwort is popular with carder bees and solitary bees, and it flowers from March to May. When a queen's energy levels are sufficiently restored, she can search for a nest site. She flies off in a low zigzag pattern. On finding a suitable site, the queen starts to collect pollen. She uses this to build the nest and feed the young. Heathers are a great source, and so are hellebores when in the sunshine. Watch how the queen brushes the pollen onto her pollen baskets. Willows are another important source of both nectar and pollen. They come in many shapes and sizes. As the nest progresses, workers start to appear. This is a buff-tailed worker on heather and a carder bee worker on lavender. The queen will now remain inside the nest where she lays eggs and broods them. This is the entrance to a buff-tail nest. These workers return laden with pollen over a period of about 2 minutes. Note the huge pollen baskets on this bee, and a couple of minutes later some flew out again. Bees need a constant supply of nectar and pollen in order to complete the nesting cycle. Gardeners can help by planting a good succession of plants to maintain a supply. The cherry plum flowers early and is a good source of nectar for short-tongued bees. Wallflowers or breccia, love in the mist and honesty, provide nectar and pollen from March to May. Phacelia, which is often grown as a soil improver, is very valuable and can be grown in succession from March till December. Bumblebees are important commercially as they pollinate fruit trees such as apples, cherries, plums and quince. They also pollinate soft fruits including gooseberries, raspberries, strawberries and currants. The flowering currant is attractive in gardens. Bumblebees pollinate many vegetable crops such as broad beans and oilseed rape, which is a brassica. As the spring moves along, the number of flowers suitable for bees proliferates. Some excellent plants include azaleas. This is a garden bumblebee. Comfrey will flower for at least a month and provides nectar and pollen for both long and short-tongued bumblebees and some solitary bees. Most common bumblebees visit comfrey. The one exception is the red-tail, which needs something to land on, like this cirsium. By mid-May, the first new queens appear. This is an early bumblebee queen on bluebell. And here's the early male on campanula. Flowers in the pea family, such as vetches, clover and broom, also provide a rich source of nectar and pollen. By early summer, nests reach their maximum size and bee activity is at its peak. Garden bumblebees are busy on foxglove and aquilegia. And here's a tree bumblebee buzzing to release pollen from comfrey. And another buzzes on a rose. Cranesbills attract red-tailed workers, and carder bees work perennial cornflower. Red clover is a bee superfood. This large buff-tailed queen has a long enough tongue to reach for nectar in the tubes, although the species is short-tongued. This is a forest cuckoo male on scabious. They have dark wings and less hair than true bumblebees. Once leaving a nest, they never return. You may find them sleeping overnight. This is a garden bumblebee male on chives, and what a magnificent tongue! The bee on the right is a southern cuckoo male. Chives are very popular, as are ornamental alliums. By midsummer, many new queens and males emerge. Males sip nectar on plants like globe thistles and watch for females. This flower head has red-tailed and white-tailed males and a buff-tailed queen at the base. Here's a white-tailed male on Iridion. Hollyhocks are favourites with buff-tailed males. This chap doesn't know what to do with all the pollen. Males don't return to the nest. Some spend the night inside courgette flowers. New queens that have mated need nectar to fatten up before hibernation. Lavender, verbena and heather are all very popular. There are so many plants to choose from at this stage. Cardoons, thyme, honeysuckle, buddleia, nasturtiums, they're all valuable. And many flowers that are good for bees, like this coneflower, also attract butterflies. Males and workers are short-lived. Finding dead bees at the end of summer is just part of a natural process. Note that the old queen also dies. By autumn, most workers have died. A few rather faded males, like this red-tailed male and this faded carder bee, persist. Queens busy themselves sipping nectar. They must build up their fat reserves before winter. Heather is popular, and so is sedum. The bee on the left is a tree bumblebee queen. Michaelmas daisy is a good source of nectar. Queens now search for a suitable hibernation site. This is a blaeberry queen. Blaeberries live in heathland, usually above 1,000 feet. She's found somewhere and is beginning to dig. Carder bees often have a second brood. These new males appeared in early September. They look very fluffy and handsome. The new queen is collecting pollen from sisters. She needs this for her ovaries to mature. She'll hibernate soon. The males continue to sip nectar and look for females right through till October. Verbena is popular, and so are sage, Michaelmas daisies and geraniums. The male on Cirsium is asleep. There are, of course, many more flowers that bees like. Watch out for pollinator-friendly displays in garden centres and look for bee-friendly labels on packets of seeds.